Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you a 2012 Canadian Football League team preview for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, presented by 13thman.com. So let's start with their offense and see what they can expect to look like in 2012. When you talk Bombers football and you talk quarterbacks, you always have to preface your statement by saying if Buck Pierce can stay healthy, this team can go a long way. And I firmly believe if he's out there for 18 games, this is a huge asset to a team. This guy does a great job of throwing the football downfield with deep ball accuracy, and he did a great job last year of leading his team to the Grey Cup. I love what I see out of Buck Pierce. He just has to stay on the field for 18 games. And backing up Buck Pierce, you have Alex Brink, Justin Cole's guys fighting out for that number 2 and 3 spots. But I think they have some solid talent. They can't come in and probably start, but they can fill in for a game or two if Buck Pierce is not there. So the quarterback position for the Bombers is very fine. Now you look at the running back position, there's no Fred Reed. It's going to be weird not seeing number 32 back there in the backfield, but Chris Garrett is a guy that can provide some speed, some agility out that position. Chad Simpson, another guy. But keep an eye on 2010 first-round draft pick Anthony Woodson out of Calgary. I'm interested to see what this guy can bring to the table at 6 feet, 210 pounds. And also they get a guy back in Carl Volney off of injury. So there's some depth back there, but may not be up to the talent of Fred Reed. It's going to take a total team effort to get this running game back to where it was last season. When you look at the receiver position, you look at the loss of Greg Carr, their red zone target, but I think overall there's still a lot of depth here. Corey Watson is a guy that I really like. Terrence Edwards, the savvy veteran that doesn't get old. And you also look at Clarence Denmark, had some surprise moments last season and some quality minutes. But I look at the two young guys, 2 second-year guys, and Jade Etienne and also Keto Pobla. Those guys are going to come in and step up huge this season for the Bombers. And you look at if they can get that going early on in the season, if they can come with that consistency and help replace a guy like Carr with their added addition of making plays after the catch and not just being a red zone target, then the receiving core won't miss a beat. So I actually think even though they lost Carr, this team may be a little bit better at the receiving position because of those two young guys. It all starts up front with the offensive line. They did a great job last year in opening up holes for Fred Reed in their running game. It's tough to protect a guy like Buck Pierce because he's a mobile quarterback and he can roll himself into sacks and get himself injured, and necessarily the offensive line gets the blame. But you look at guys, starting guard Steve Morley does a great job at the point of attack, especially in the interior of that offensive line where it's vital to open up holes for the ground game. And Andre Douglas is another guy that does a great job out there on the tackle spot. So I think the offensive line, even though they lost Brendan Labatt, that's a huge loss, but I think they're still going to be okay. Still enough talent there to help groom the young guys who's going to fill in their place. The Bombers lived in the backfield last year as far as sacking the quarterback. They lose their double-digit sack master, Odell Willis, but they have two guys, Kenny Maynard and Jason Vega, combined for 15 sacks. Now, you look at these guys being pressed in starting roles now, I think they're going to increase. You may see both guys get double-digit sacks. The question is, can they find someone on the interior to get pushed to free up more one-on-one opportunities for these guys to get to the quarterback? All eyes this year will be on linebacker Hanak Muamba. This guy has to come in and step up and be that player that they expected when they drafted him #1 overall. If he can do that, then this linebacking core won't miss a beat. But I look at guys like Marcellus Bowman and also Clint Kent. Those guys do a great job of playing downhill, disrupting passing lanes, stuffing the run. If they can get help from Muamba in his second year, then this unit will be a team strength on the side of that defense. And also a guy like Labatt Pierre-Luc, another guy that comes in with exceptional ability. This is a team that needs that #1 guy to step up and be the man that he's expected to be as #1 pick. Now you look at the secondary. I love Javon Johnson. This guy is a key playmaker in that secondary. 8 interceptions last year, and that doesn't even count the amount of pass breakups he's had. Some people look at his height, some people look at his size, but all I see is this guy with the ball in his hands, and he does a great job. Also, another guy that does a great job in Jonathan Hefney. He has 6 interceptions and 78 tackles. So this is a guy that not only can make plays in the air, he can also get up close to the line of scrimmage and doesn't mind sticking his nose in dirty places and getting the tackles and getting the job done for that defense. Keep an eye on Brandon Stewart. He's a guy that's going to step up and have another huge year this season for the Bombers. The reason for optimism, you have to love the defense. Even though they lost Odell Willis and company, they still have a bunch of defensive talented players on this roster. And I also like the fact that offensively, you look at quarterback Buck Pierce, if he can stay healthy for all 18 games, even if he gives you 13 games, that's still a win for this defense, is win for this offense, a win for this team overall. So I think that right there gives this team optimism. And you also have veteran leadership at the receiver position, so they're going to always be fine. Defense, special teams, solid play from the quarterback keeps Winnipeg in ball games and keeps them primed for a repeat of the East Division title. A cause for concern from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you have to look at the losses. You look at a guy like Odell Willis, your sack master from a year ago. You also lose linebacker Joe Lebedon, the guy that, even though he got hurt, he's still a very productive linebacker for a long time for the Bombers. And you also look at Greg Carr. It's going to help out quarterbacks in the red zone. 6'6" frame, high points of football. You lose that. You lose a bit of efficiency near the goal line. You look at Brendan Labatt, offensive line leadership. You lose that. And also Fred Reed, the talented tailback. Now you have a question at the running back position. Those are the causes for concern this year for the Bombers. I think the Bombers finished third in the East Division this year. I know last year I picked these guys to finish last and they made it all the way to the Grey Cup, so that shows you what I know. But I think with the losses that happened in the offseason on the defense side of the football, on the offensive line, the running back position, they're going to take a step back. They still make the playoffs. As long as Buck Pierce is back there healthy, they always have a shot, and the defense still has enough talented playmakers to get into the playoffs and make a deep run. For more CFL coverage, visit footballgameplan.com/CFL, and you can also visit 13thman.com for more CFL fan forums.